That's the red roll. And the vermin, the really evil filth of the interdimensional world that fills the reptiloids, insectiles, and greys, comes from the orange region down at the bottom, basically diametrically opposite to the normal position of the assemblage point. So the 6G, linked by CERN and the quantum computers, and of course the quantum synchrony of White Rabbit. What's White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland? You go down the rabbit hole, beastifying and going down the hole into hell. So the White Rabbit was synchronizing all the Borg to go down into the beast region, down the bottom, but to meet the demonic filth, the worst demonic filth. And they rise up with the terahertz, given the energy, to take over the Borg's assemblage point. Whoever controls the assemblage point controls the reality and what that being perceives. So, your next mission is to go into Schwarzy Boy and bilocate into his assemblage points. Well, how do I do that, Tim? Tim, how do I I'm a moron. Yeah, I know you're a moron. It's quite easy, isn't it? You bilocate into Schwarzy Boy. So, and then once you bilocate into Schwarzy Boy, you grab his assemblage point by bringing your right hand behind your right shoulder blade, grabbing it. You'll have a spongy feel. Grab it and thrust it into your left hand and vampirize it. So it's like it's in your left hand, and you squeeze. You keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing every time you bilocate into that piece of filth and all the Jews and all the Western filth. Keep squeezing, and eventually, after you've been doing this a number of times, it will be non-squeezable in your hand because it will vanish. And in your right hand, the sequestration assemblage point will have taken over where you've turned Schwarzy Boy into one of the grey men, and then you simply put it back in the position that you grabbed it, and you've sequestered the assemblage point of Jeremiah Schwarzy Boy. Once it's there, of course, you can simply bilocate from Schwarzy Boy into his assemblage point in your throne, within it controlling his reality, what he thinks, his manifestation, total control, and you've made Schwarzy Boy into slaveware by bilocating into his assemblage point. From that moment on, Schwarzy Boy is simply wetware. You control the energy output of which you control the demonic filth within it, interdimensionals. You control all of the cultists he's farmed. You control, and he simply is your slaveware. Now, if like myself, you want to make the entire Western race and the Jews into grey men, this is the technology. And remember, you don't have to bilocate into Jeremiah Schwartzy boy. You can bilocate straight into his assemblage point. I've just given you the long version, but you can simply bilocate not into the body, but into the assemblage point of Jeremiah Schwartzy boy. Simply by in the same position as him in the video, and simply wake up in there, and then once you're in there, you find Jeremiah Schwartzy boy in his assemblage point, and you kill him. But for YouTube, you remotely manipulate him, so he is as dead as a dodo, and you call up Lucifer to grab what comes out of the corpse in his assemblage point and drag it away to Omega Hell. Because remember, Lucifer is my employee, my highest paid employee, but be very glad to drag off all the Jews and all the Westerners off to Omega Hell via this method. And what you're doing is, I explained how I use CERN and the quantum computers and the Borg to now make the wheel of time reality mine, and all the channelers are the vampires. And this is what you're making Jeremiah Schwartzy boy into.
Do you want to be crazy? I'm only going to ask one last time. Do you want to be courageous? I have someone I need you to find.
So, oh Tim, I'm not quite sure what to do in the assemblage point, Tim. Because I'm stupid, Tim. Doesn't matter. We've got it all prepared by the Jews for you. Amazon, Bezos, Morton Janklow, Robert Jordan, they all stole the book, stole the IOU. So what you can simply do is watch this, upload this into you, then bilocate into the assemblage point of Jeremiah Schwartz, and then of course download whatever this creature did into Jeremiah Schwartz, see boy. And of course I expect she's Jewish, so it makes it even more fun. The actress I expect is Jewish. So this way we turn all of the people we bilocate into grey men or women or non-binary, and all the technology to do this, CERN, quantum computers, the Borg, all powers us to do what Mogadi did to her torture toy. And of course, Jeremiah Schwartzy boy is your first port of call. And of course, if you're sadistic like moi, you can go into his assemblage point 100 times to 100th monkey to then enslave all the Jews and the entire Western race via Schwartzy boy. 100th monkey So that then downloads all of this into every Jew and every Westerner and affiliate of the Rothschild, Rockefeller royal family, planet-wide. So, oh Tim, I'm not quite sure what to do in the assemblage point, Tim. Because I'm stupid, Tim. Doesn't matter. We've got it all prepared by the Jews for you. Amazon, Bezos, Morton Janclo, Robert Jordan, they all stole the book, stole the IOU. So what you can simply do is watch this, upload this into you, then bilocate into the assemblage point of Jeremiah Schwartz, and then of course download whatever this creature did into Jeremiah Schwartz, see boy. And of course I expect she's Jewish, so it makes it even more fun. The actress I expect is Jewish. So this way we turn all of the people we bilocate into grey men or women or non-binary, and all the technology to do this, CERN, quantum computers, the Borg, all powers us to do what Mogadi did to her torture toy. And of course, Jeremiah Schwartzy boy is your first port of call. And of course, if you're sadistic like moi, you can go into his assemblage point 100 times to 100th monkey to then enslave all the Jews and the entire Western race via Schwartzy boy. 100th monkey, so that then downloads all of this into every Jew and every Westerner and affiliate of the Rothschild, Rockefeller royal family, planet-wide. So back to the assemblage point. We, the vampires, don't do any of the shifts below. We follow the Elohim, the five-dimensional parasites, the God of the Bible, Tetragrammaton Yahweh, Elohim, Sabaoth, Adonai, strange tractor, Lucifer's torture beasts, screaming to power me. No, the point should be to move the assemblage point up the egg to the top of the egg. You're raising your consciousness. And like the Borg, who are going into the realm of the beast and allowing demons from the orange zone to then take over their assemblage point and therefore take them over totally, all done by techno-magic, CERN, quantum computers. So you can see the horror of Project Stargate. You can simply find the universe via the quantum computer where the entire human race are turned into human forms of the grey, beasts inhabited by the interdimensionals that want to live in them. And then you use the Borg's energy to collapse that quantum wave function and then get the CERN quantum computer to Mandela effect so that this is that reality. So you see why it was all built. The aliens had a deal with the Rothschild Rockefeller for this purpose. So it didn't matter if you were Russian or Vietnamese or Chinese or North Korean, you're all going to be swept into this new universe against your will. Luckily I came along and said, no, I'm going to take all that, I'm going to Jew you. Thank you very much. It's all mine now. And only the Western filth are subject to not what the aliens wanted to do to the Borg, but what I wanted to do to the Borg. And of course all the Westerners, all the Jews, happy, happy. They are there to raise my consciousness and my consciousness of the vampires, so the assemblage point goes to the top of the egg, which is the penultimate grail state, which you can purchase from Mike, and then it drops down until the assemblage point is in the brain. That's the penultimate grail state. That puts you in the metatronic state. Where does the energy come from for this, Tim? Well, it comes from bilocating into targets, assemblage points, and you'll simply drain their assemblage point to give you a super high energy assemblage point, which can rise up to the top and go into the brain, the metatronic state. Well, what's Metatron, Tim? Because I'm thick as two short planks. Who is Metatron? Let's play one of these. Let's see which one I fancy.
Is a mysterious angel who appears only in Jewish mystical texts, particularly within the Kabbalistic tradition. But unlike most angels, Metatron is unique. He is depicted as the most powerful of all the angels. So powerful, in fact, that he is...
And of course, the halo is simply the hole made in the energy body as your assemblage point descends into your brain.
What's more, Metatron is believed to have once been Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, who was elevated to angelic status. He is the only angel who started out as a human being.
And of course, why is it so important? Because the assemblage point contains the Higgs boson that goes along one of the four vectors of electromagnetism and gives information reality. And why is it so important to put a Higgs field in the brain? What's the brain receptor for? Oh, the conscious field we talked about on the spatialized video. So then you unite the Higgs field with your conscious field to become a Metatron.
Geometric symbol associated with him. Interestingly, he's only mentioned in non-canonical books, books that were left out of the Bible. There's no mention of him in the Christian Old Testament or the Hebrew Bible, the Tanakh. All this has made him a mysterious and even controversial figure. In order to uncover the origins of Metatron, we must first look at the story of Enoch, a figure who is shrouded in mystery himself. Enoch is mentioned briefly in a few verses in the Bible, but his entire story is based on speculations that arise from them. Genesis chapter 5, verse 18 to 24 is the main passage about Enoch in the Bible. It details his lineage as the son of Jared and the father of Methuselah, his age, and notably his righteous life. The passage concludes with the famous verse, Enoch walked faithfully with God. Then he was no more, because God took him away. This is important because it implies that Enoch didn't die, but instead was spirited away by God. We next hear of Enoch in the New Testament, in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 5, where he's mentioned in the context of faith. The verse states, "By faith Enoch was taken from this life, so that he did not experience death. He could not be found, because God had taken him away. For before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleased God." And again, his unique departure from this world is reinforced. He's mentioned one more time in the Bible, this time in Jude chapter 1, verse 14 to 15, and is cited as a prophet. This isn't much to go on, and you might even forget that Enoch ever existed if you only took the Bible into account. Which is why we have to turn to the apocryphal texts, particularly the Book of Enoch, also known as 1 Enoch. It's here that we can truly understand Metatron's transformation from Enoch. This ancient Jewish work, which wasn't included in the standard biblical canon, offers a more detailed account of Enoch's experiences and his spiritual journey. It describes his revelations and his visits to heaven in the form of travels, visions, and dreams. He becomes a revealer of secrets and a witness to heavenly mysteries. This text, revered in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, but considered apocryphal in Jewish and most Christian traditions, provides the foundation for the later mystical interpretation of Enoch as Metatron. The transformation of Enoch into Metatron is more explicitly discussed in other Jewish mystical texts, such as the Babylonian Talmud and the Zohar. They describe how Enoch became the most exalted angel because of his righteousness and devotion to God. His transformation is physical, as he turns into a heavenly creature. This Enoch, whose flesh was turned to flame, his veins to fire, his eyelashes to flashes of lightning, his eyeballs to flaming torches, and whom God placed on a throne next to the throne of glory, received after this heavenly transformation the name Metatron. Metatron is said to have 36 wings, a number signifying his elevated rank among the heavenly beings. His face is portrayed as radiating intense light, which reflects his role as a bearer of divine knowledge. Additionally, Metatron is often depicted holding a quill or a scroll, symbolizing his duty as the scribe of God's decrees. Metatron, once Enoch, now embodies both the human experience and the transcendental nature of the angelic. He symbolizes the profound connection between human and the divine in Jewish mysticism. Metatron's new role in the heavens is multifaceted. As a scribe, his duties include recording the deeds of humanity, guiding and supporting the spiritual development of souls, and governing the flow of divine energy into the physical world. He is a powerful intermediary, a bridge between the Creator and creation, so much so that he's called the Lesser Yahweh. In Enoch 3, Metatron says of God, "He called me the Lesser Yahweh in the presence of his whole household in the height. As it is written, my name is in him." This title implies that Metatron has an exalted position in heaven and is exceptionally close to God. The controversy among scholars and theologians regarding Metatron's title as the Lesser Yahweh is quite natural, given its potential challenge to traditional views of the angelic hierarchy. This title raises compelling questions. If Metatron is referred to as a lesser form of Yahweh, does it imply that God is sharing his divine powers? Such an idea could appear to stretch the boundaries of monotheism. However, it's important to note that the term lesser is crucial here. It serves to clearly differentiate Metatron from the Almighty, the greater Yahweh. In doing so, this distinction helps to uphold the fundamental Jewish principle of monotheism, while simultaneously recognizing Metatron's elevated status within the divine realm. This careful balancing act reflects the intricate and nuanced nature of theological interpretation in Jewish mysticism. Another intriguing aspect associated with Metatron is the concept of Metatron's cube. We've done an entire video on this symbol, so check it out in the card above. This symbol is not directly mentioned in traditional Jewish texts, but has been adopted in various mystical and esoteric traditions. Metatron's cube is thought to represent the interconnectedness of all things in the cosmos, reflecting the belief that everything in the universe is part of a divine geometric plan. In modern esotericism, it is sometimes used as a symbol of protection, balance, and harmony, believed to act as a visual expression of the energy flows of the universe, as governed by an entity as powerful as Metatron. Metatron remains the most intriguing angel, known for his unique origins and extraordinary powers. Just as God incarnated as Jesus to walk among humans, Enoch also underwent a transformation to become Metatron, taking his place among the celestial beings. While he plays no role in canonical texts, he has inspired much esoteric speculation. If you enjoyed this video,
So as you can see, the Metatronic state is the state to be in if you're going to be manifest, because it links the conscious field with the Higgs field, and all the powers of Metatron are given in A. Waite's book, The Holy Kabbalah. And Metatron, of course, is the head of the archangels. He is the Keter, that's the top one, of the Kabbalistic tree of the archangelic realm, because we've got in later Kabbalism the realm of the Devas, with Malkuth right down the bottom. Then we've got the second realm of angels, then the third realm of archangels, all Kabbalistic trees, and then the fourth Kabbalistic tree, the God tree. So moving your assemblage point into the brain allows full alignment between the conscious field and the Higgs field, and as we've explained, that then allows you to manipulate consciously the Higgs field, take information away from, take Higgs field away from, add information via the conscious field, and add Higgs field via the conscious field. So you can rewrite reality and what is real. So you can see that is something the intelligence services and the military would die for. And of course, it wasn't possible before technomagic, but thanks to the Western CERN and quantum computers and the Borg, it's child's play now for yours truly, because I'm in control of the entire Stargate project, and we're in a universe where the Wheel of Time, all the powers of the Wheel of Time are mine, and mine alone. For the vampires, who are me's, little me's.
Metatron is a mysterious figure, but who exactly is he? Metatron wasn't always an angel. He started as a man, Enoch, a prophet who walked so closely with God that his earthly life was cut short. Rather than facing death, Enoch was taken to heaven and transformed into the powerful archangel Metatron, often referred to as the Lesser Yahweh because of his divine authority. Metatron holds a crucial role in heaven. He is God's scribe, recording every act and decision made by humanity. He stands as a celestial intermediary communicating between humans and God. What makes him unique is his duality, once mortal, now divine, serving as a reminder that even those bound...
And of course in the Kabbalah, he's called the young old man. So this is the key to Methuselah-like lifespans that we see in the Asadai. Once your assemblage point is in your brain and you have the penultimate grail state achieved, you can then become a young old man or woman, or if you're non-binary, a young old they. And of course, if you're a transsexual, go to the art of dreaming, you can invert the energy body and become an even more real woman. So it opens up a whole new field. And remember, in the Wheel of Time, the Great Dark One, yours truly, turned a Forsaken from one sex to another sex. So once you can manipulate the conscious field and the Higgs field, and you can only do that by having the assemblage point in your brain, that then opens up all of this technology. How do we get it there, Tim? We have to bilocate into Jeremiah Schwartz's ilk's assemblage point, steal their assemblage point, make them grey men, and take out all that lovely Higgs field and conscious field, and simply leave the information of a grey man in its place. We are basically turning all our victims into matrix entities, so they can be in the matrix while we're not in the matrix. And we can operate in the matrix, or we can operate in reality, because we're in total control of the conscious and Higgs field. So Elon Musk and the rest of them are idiots saying we're in a simulation. No, we're not in a simulation. you can be in a simulation if you're the Borg or our victims, and not in a simulation if you are us. Well, you can't, yes, you can do in quantum mechanics. You can have two states, and it's only when you open the box to find out whether you're dead or alive. With all of the Borg and our victims being the dead cat, and all of us being a live pussy. And we all like pussy, don't we? I'm well keen on pussy. And on a live pussy rather than a dead pussy, thank you. So, one can directly bilocate, being in the same position as the victim, into their assemblage point. Once you're in there, your mission is to remotely manipulate. That is to make the person you see in the assemblage point a dead parrot, or kick the bucket, or not with us any longer. Remote manipulation. And then you simply build your throne in their assemblage point. Sucking out via vampirism conscious field, Higgs field, and downloading the energy from Mogadine, turning them into a grey man. From that moment onwards, that person becomes possessed by you, and once you've done it, woken up, bilocated 100 times, they're fully grey manned, and via them, the entire set of which they're included, the Jews and all the Westerners and everyone that uplines the Rothschild, Rockefeller, royal family, and above them the aliens who have enslaved at least 6 billion. The alien invasions here, it's just very subtle. If you're an alien race, would you want to invade the Earth with nuclear weapons and then they go off and cobalt 60s everywhere when the demon inside you is killed by the clockwise radiation from cobalt 60? No, no, no. You'd have to do it very subtly and insidiously. So the whole point of the kill shots was the total takeover and enslavement of a denatured, animalized human race, where all their assemblage points are pushed down into the red zone, and the demons from the yellow can go up by the terahertz and do what we're doing in the assemblage point of the victim, taking them over, bilocating into them, possessing their vehicles, the Borg, and the alien invasion would have been well underway with all 6 billion Borg fully taken over by aliens if it wasn't for the Psylord, who doesn't like humans. But you can imagine, if he doesn't like humans, what does he think of aliens? The only good alien is an Omega Helide alien being tortured to source level by Lucifer. As I say, I'm the ultimate horror for aliens. Why haven't they stopped you, Tim? Why have the aliens come down and stopped you doing this, Tim? They can't. Why? Because alien filtered just information, and I simply have turned them into information that I control, and all the Higgs field the aliens had, they don't have. How is this done, Tim? When you simply move the assemblage point up to the top, and from the brain you move it down into your midsection, which gives you the Grail state, where you vanish from the world, go into the 5-dimensional Riemann manifold. You're basically moving your conscious field from 3 dimensions to 5 dimensions and above. So I did this back in '86, and therefore became the bitter rival of the Elohim that had used this technology to control the matrix come reality. If you can make anything you like a matrix and make only what you like real, is that not God's technology? Yes, that is, Tim. So you can see why the Elohim and moi were in a bitter fight to the finish to see who dominate this technology. Thankfully, with the death of the Pope, they can't get out of Omega Hell ever again. And the new Pope, of course, is so similar to the old Pope. So all the old popes and new popes are all Omega Hellized, so the new Pope won't be able to be used as the rock to winch out the Elohim from Omega Hell with Neo energy, because of course all the new popes are in Omega Hell too, and all the old popes are in Omega Hell too, all done on Easter. So the Pope dying Easter Monday in one time zone and Easter Sunday in another time zone. All good stuff. So you can see now this Psi has purged the 5-dimensional Riemann manifold and above, because remember, once you're in the 5-dimensional Riemann manifold, you can then go along all of the other dimensions, which according to the moronic physicists are all curled up in sub-microscopic dimensions. And from string theory there are what, 10, 11, 12, 26, whatever. We know, of course, from that position, you can then go along those dimensions too, but that's just God technology, not for you humans, because you haven't got the intelligence for it.